Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the Boxhard podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
Yo, it's your boy, the odd guy himself, Malik King Scott.
Hi, I'm Charlie Edwards.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the Boxhard podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of the Boxhard podcast. I'm your host, Joey Coastman. I'm joined, as always, by Ayaz Sumra. Ayaz, how you doing?
I'm good, Joey. How are you?
Very good, very good. Same as always, same as always. Okay, we're going to get straight into part one. We're going to start with a card that took place over in France. Ivan Mendy, he fought for the vacant EBU EU European lightweight title. He fought a guy called Francesco Patera. Patera was unbeaten in 15 fights, but Ivan Mendy, tough guy, he really is. He picked up his 35th professional win, so he's the new EBU EU European lightweight champion. So a good win for Ivan Mendy. We're now going to go over to the UK, of course, Lancashire, top of the bill, Jack Catterall. He defended his WBO Intercontinental Super Lightweight title against Joe Hughes. It was a successful defense from Catterall. Both guys had 14 wins on their record. Catterall, of course, was unbeaten. Joe Hughes had the one loss. He's now got two. Jack Catterall moves to 15-0. A much closer fight than a lot of people thought it was going to be, but nonetheless a good win for Catterall. Also on the bill, Vijender Singh. He picked up a TKO in the third round. He had his man down in round one as well. And Vijender Singh now 6 wins and 6 wins by knockout. So really nice for Vijender Singh. He's knocking everybody out he gets in there with at the moment. Also on the bill, Luke Blackledge. He defended his Commonwealth Super Middleweight title against Ishmael Tete. Luke Blackledge. I know that there was a lot of people that weren't very happy with Ishmael Tete. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't actually see the fight, but there was a bit of a strange stoppage. I think he might have perhaps stayed down on the floor. I'll be honest, I'm just speculating, but I know that a lot of people weren't very happy with that. So Luke Blackledge moves to 21 wins. Of course, he's got the 2 draws and the 2 losses, but he defends his Commonwealth strap. So, good win for him. Jimmy Kelly was also on the bill. He moved to 17-1 with a points win after 8 rounds. He had his man down in the 8th round as well. And Kelly suffered a cut to the left eyebrow when heads clashed in the 4th round. Also on that bill, Zelfa Flash Barrett. He picked up a TKO in the 2nd round, which means he's now moved to 10-0. He had his man down in the 1st round and the 2nd round. And then that was all she wrote. Okay, that's it for the UK. We're now going to go over to America. Top of the bill, a guy that we had on our show last week. Really, really nice guy. Dusty Hernandez Harrison. He was in the biggest fight of his life against Mike Dallas Jr. Dusty had a record of 29-0, a beautiful record. Mike Dallas Jr., he's been around the block, 21-3 with the 1 draw. A lot of people not very happy with the outcome of this fight. It ended up being a split draw. So it's the first blemish on Dusty's record. But Mike Dallas Jr., this is his 2nd draw now. A lot of people gave this fight to Mike Dallas. It wasn't televised over here, so I didn't manage to watch that at all. But everybody that I've seen on Twitter scored it for Mike Dallas Jr. A lot of people saying it's a hometown decision, that we don't like that at all in boxing. But Dusty Hernandez, didn't. I think the way people are putting it, he was very, very lucky to not have a loss on his record. He managed to get the draw. So it'd be interesting to see what happens next with that fight. That's really that for that particular bill. We're now going to go over to another part of America. This time we're over in Las Vegas, Nevada. Top of the bill, Andrew Tabiti. He moved to 13-0 with a win over Keith Tapia, who had a nice record of 17-0. Somebody's O had to go. It was Keith Tapia's. Andrew Tabiti picks up the vacant NABF Cruiserweight title with that win. Also on the bill, the heavyweight Olympian turned cruiserweight Michael Hunter moved to 12-0, and he also picked up the vacant WBO NABO cruiserweight title. Michael Hunter definitely one to keep our eyes peeled on. And also on that bill, Kevin Newman, he moved to 6-0. He's got the 1 draw. All these fights that I've mentioned, all those wins there, I forgot to mention the method. Tabiti won his one unanimously after 10. Michael Hunter won his one unanimously after 10. And Kevin Newman won his one unanimously after 6. Maurice Lee was also on the bill. He picked up another win. He moves to 7-0. He's a fighter training out of the Joe Goosen gym in Van Nuys, and he picked up a win in the 6th round. After six, it was a unanimous decision after 6, and that's a welterweight to look out for. Maurice Lee seems like a really nice guy from what I've seen of him. We're now going to go over to Mexico. Marco Antonio Periban, he picked up his 25th career win. This was up at light heavyweight, this fight. He fought a guy unbeaten in 10 fights, German Rafael. Marco Antonio Periban, 25-3 with the one draw. German Rafael, 10-1 now. So a good win there for Periban, taking a guy's O. Now we're going to go over to Poland. It really is all over the place last weekend. It was just fight here, fight there, Poland, Mexico, UK, USA, France. It was all over the place. We're now going to go over to Poland. Top of the bill, Mariusz Wach. He picked up a unanimous decision win after 10 rounds against Marcelo Luis Nascimento. So Mariusz Wach, 32 wins and 2 draws now. Most of the fights I've just mentioned took place on the Friday. That one just there over in Poland took place on the Saturday. We're now going to go over to Wales. So back in the UK. Lee Haskins, top of the bill. We had him on our show last week. Very, very nice guy. He defended successfully his IBF World Bantamweight title against Ivan Morales. Now, I didn't actually know, but Ivan Morales is brothers with Eric Morales, of course, the Mexican legend of a fighter. He had a huge, bitter rivalry with Marco Antonio Barrera. So, it was a massive name for Lee Haskins to beat there. So, Ivan Morales now 29-2. Lee Haskins 33-3. So, another win for Lee Haskins. It was a good fight. There was a bit of holding going on from Lee Haskins, to be totally honest, but all the quality stuff came from him, and he was the better man on the night, to be totally honest. I think, not sure how it was scored. I know he won unanimously after 12, but I think he pretty much, it was almost a shutout, if not a shutout, if I can remember correctly. Also on that bill, Craig Kennedy picked up his 15th professional win with a split decision win up at cruiserweight over Joe DeGeco. This was for the vacant IBF International Cruiserweight title. Kennedy was floored in the 2nd round and the 6th round, and he managed to scrape out a split decision win. So it's a bit of a... I didn't actually watch that fight. It's a bit of a strange one, though, I must say, for a man to be dropped twice in only a 10-rounder and managed to win on a split decision. I don't know if there was something fishy going on. If you know something about it, please send us a tweet at Boxhard Podcast that we actually missed that one. Also on that bill, again, Josh Taylor, he moved to 5-0 with a TKO in the 1st round. And Andrew Selby, he was fighting Louis Norman, ex-opponent of Charlie Edwards. Louis Norman, 11-1. With the one draw. He's now got 2 losses in the one draw, still the 11 wins. Andrew Selby moved to 5-0, and he picks up the British flyweight title. So Andrew Selby picking up the British title in 5 fights. Incredible stuff for him. To be totally honest, it was a closer fight than a lot of people thought. Yet again, Andrew Selby was, you could see, he's absolutely quality. The way that his lateral movement's just second to none. He really moves really, really, really well. He's fantastic about that. He did say after the fight that he felt Louis Norman's power, and he wasn't, it didn't seem to faze him at all. So he knew that he could really let him sort of hit him and it wouldn't hurt him. So I think the way he fought, it was a bit dangerous. And like I say, I don't think I'd give it like a shutout or anything like that to Andrew Selby. I think Louis Norman put in a brilliant account of himself, much better than how he fought against Charlie Edwards. I know that he's been saying against Charlie Edwards, he went in there and completely, he didn't have no game plan from round 1. It all went out the window and he just did what he wanted. He definitely fought a lot better against Andrew Selby. I don't want to take any credit away from Charlie Edwards. Charlie Edwards may have just, it just might have been harder to get his shots off. I know Charlie Edwards wasn't letting Louis Norman land on him whatsoever, but Andrew Selby, he was having success, Louis Norman, on Andrew Selby, but it was a really good fight. And the 12th round is a brilliant round. If somebody can get that on 5 on demand or whatever they call it now, catch up on Channel 5. It was a brilliant brilliant 12th round. And I think that, Andrew Selby definitely going on to big things in the future. One last fight I will mention on that card, Conrad Cummins, he moved to 9-0 with the one draw. He picked up a TKO in the 6th round over Frankie Borg. That's it for the UK. We're now going to move over to the last bill. This one took place over in California. Just 2 fights I want to mention over there. Sal Rodriguez, he picked up a KO in the 7th round, so he moves to 20-0. He's got the one draw. This was a win over Dorley's Prescott. It was a good fight, actually. So Sil Rodriguez, good win there, 7th round KO. Also on the bill, heavyweight, undefeated Andy Ruiz Jr. He moved to 27-0. His opponent, Ray Austin. Austin was down in the 1st round. He had a big layoff and he come back in this fight and he was never, ever going to win this fight at all. He was down in the 1st round. He injured his right hand I think during the 4th round or towards the end of the 4th round, and he refused to come out for the 5th round. So he retired on his store at the end of the 4th. So Andy Ruiz Jr. puts a name on his record, I guess, and moves to 27-0. I really need to see this guy stepped up. A lot of people saying he's got all the skill in the world, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, that's it for part 1. We're now going to welcome our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first guest on this week's show, fighting in a huge fight this Saturday. It's unbeaten heavyweight contender Joseph Parker. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Hello, Joey.
Hello, Joseph. How you doing?
Not too bad, brother. How are you?
Very good, very good. Now, of course, you've got a huge fight, as I mentioned just there, on Saturday against Carlos Takam. Now, Takam's been in there with the likes of Povetkin, Mike Perez, Tony Thompson. This guy's a genuine good fighter and undoubtedly your toughest test yet. How are you feeling so close to the fight right now, Joseph?
Well, we're about 3-4 days out of the fight, and at the moment I'm feeling great. And the reason, or what I put that down to, is that the training that I've done in Vegas, I've trained for 12 weeks. I've trained a house down. I've prepared myself as best I can. And I believe that this is the biggest challenge and the biggest test in my career so far because of what he presents. He's a dangerous fighter. He's a fighter who likes to come forward, throw his punches and bunches. And the amount of pressure he has is is nothing I really faced before. So I actually look forward to this test. And it's a test that I've been training really hard for.
Do you believe that a winning style over Carlos Takam would rubber stamp your CV and get the attention of the boxing fans all around the world?
I believe that if I do get a good victory over Carlos Takam, and I look really, really good, then it'll send shockwaves around the world, and it'll tell everyone that we're here, and we're here to fight, we're here to win, and we're here to try our best to take over and be champion of the world ourselves. But firstly, I just have to focus on what I have to do, and that's to get past him. And he's here prepared, he's here ready, he's focused, and he told me when we met the first time on Monday that he's not here to lose. So, two fighters who are ready will make it an exciting night.
Absolutely. Now, how much do you actually know about him? He's got a little bit of a reputation over here in the UK as a really, really tough guy. Some people compare him a little bit to Derek Chisora. What do you think of him? What do you know about him, Joseph?
Well, when we first signed up the fight, I started to study him and what I could find on YouTube. And what I've seen is that he does come a lot prepared. He comes fit, strong. It's just like I mentioned before, the pressure that he puts on is big pressure that sometimes people can't handle. And he likes to throw a lot of punches, and he loads up on his punches, and he's there to try and knock you out. So I think that's the dangerous part of him.
Now, you yourself, you've never actually had to go 12 rounds. He's only gone 12 rounds once. That was with Tony Thompson. It wasn't a very fast-paced fight. Do you see this potentially going 12 rounds? And if so, how will you feel about that, going 12 for the first time in your career?
Well, with the training that I've done, I'm certain that I can go 12 rounds. I'm 100% sure that I've trained the house down and that I can actually go 12 rounds if I need to go 12 rounds. But if it does go 12 rounds, it'll be something new for me, and it'll be the first time I'll go 12 rounds. I think it'll be a learning curve as well. But I'm prepared to go 12, prepared to go 1. It doesn't really matter, whatever happens. But I think we're both prepared to go the distance if it need be.
Absolutely. Now, my questions was always going to end up going in this direction sooner or later. Without overlooking Takam at all, if you win this fight, you're in position to fight Anthony Joshua. Both of you, in my opinion, are on the same level, you and Anthony Joshua. What are your thoughts on Anthony Joshua?
Oh, I have a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua and his team. And he's the IBF for a title champion holder now. So, he's done his bit to get to the championship of the world, and I know he's going to keep improving, keep getting better. I know I'm not looking too far ahead. Hopefully this fight goes well. We'll get a chance to have a fight with each other. We're both humble guys who are trying their best in this sport and trying to look, make a living and look after their families. So I think we're both very, very similar. But I look forward to the day when we do meet. And hopefully I do get past second, so that can happen.
Yeah, of course. Now, a couple of fights I just wanted to ask you about that are coming up in your division. Of course, Anthony Joshua's got a fight on the 25th of June against Dominic Breazeale. Do you think Dominic Breazeale poses any kind of threat at all to Joshua when they collide on the 25th of June?
Any fighter that gets in the ring, I have a lot of respect for, but I just believe Anthony Joshua is on a different level to Dominic Breazeale. I think he's just the better boxer, and he's always in great shape. He trains hard, he puts in the work. So I see things going his way.
And I believe it'll be 6 months in about a week's time since Tyson Fury shocked the world and defeated Klitschko. His rematch will be coming up soon on the 9th of July. How do you see that one going, Joseph?
I see the rematch with Tyson Fury getting better and doing better. I believe he won the fight, and which was great for heavyweight boxing. It brought a lot more excitement to the heavyweight division. But I believe that with the rematch he'll get better, and I see things going that way as well.
One thing I just do want to ask you, Joseph. I always kind of worry about this, not just for this fight in particular, but who have you sparred with that we might know? Because, coming from a place like New Zealand, it's not really known for its heavyweights. Do you get good sparring? Is there anyone we might have heard of that you've sparred with in any fight, in any preparation?
I definitely sparred with some good fighters, and here in New Zealand, there's not a lot of sparring partners, which is why we're based in Vegas. But in Vegas, we've sparred with the likes of Andy Ruiz, Breazeale and a few others that have invited us into sparred with Klitschko. We've been invited into camps, and we've invited others into our camp. And I believe that the sparring that we got leading up to this fight has given us the great work to be able to be prepared for what Carlos Takam brings.
Absolutely. Now, just before I let you go, I just wanted to give you the opportunity for any kind of message to any UK fans that may be listening.
Just the only thing I'd like to say is that I really do appreciate the support of some of the fans in the UK who've messaged me and who I can tell who really want me to come there and fight there. And just want to let them know that hopefully everything goes well. We'll be there in the near future to put on the show for you guys, and hopefully you guys will be there to support us and cheer for us. And just want to say, thanks again for the support. Really do appreciate it, and that support that keeps us going.
Absolutely. Now, on behalf of all the British fans, I thank you for that kind message. It's, of course, your fight's being shown live on Sky Sports over here, so I'll be tuning in as well, and I'm sure a lot of others will. I wish you the absolute best of luck for Saturday, Joseph, and hopefully we speak again soon.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Take care.
All right, brother. See you later. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for part 2 on this week's show. This part, of course, the preview part. We're now going to preview some of the fights coming up this weekend. We're going to start over in Colombia. Darlis Perez, of course, remember, that fight that he had with Anthony Crolla where he got stopped. He returns to the ring in an 8-rounder, super lightweight, so up at 140. He fights Wegner Ortega, who has a record of 5 wins and 18 losses. This is clearly a win just to try and bounce back into the picture. Sorry, I say a win, a fight. I'm sure he's going to win it. Of course, Darlis Perez goes into this bout with a record of 32 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. That's it for Colombia. We're now going to go over to a fight I thought I'd mention in Australia. Top of the bill, a guy called Brad Pitt. Okay, 18 wins and 1 loss. I really hope it's not the actual Brad Pitt, but I just wanted to get that out there that someone in a cruiserweight going 10 rounds in Australia down in Melbourne is actually called Brad Pitt. So I thought I'd get that one out there. Okay, enough of that. Enough of the jokes. We're now going to go over to New Zealand, top of the bill. We had him on our show a little bit earlier. We know he's not taking this fight lightly whatsoever. Joseph Parker, 18-0. He's in a 12-rounder. This is an IBF world title eliminator to try to get into the position to fight Anthony Joshua. So Joseph Parker, of his 18 wins, 16 by knockout, he faces Carlos Takam, who has a record of 33 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. Carlos Takam, someone that's been in some good fights, got a couple names on his record. He's been sparring with David Haye back in the past before. He's an all-round good fighter. So it's going to be a really tough test, but one I believe that Joseph Parker will get through. That's it for New Zealand. We're now going to go over to Russia. There's a really good fight over there, actually, a really good fight between Denis Lebedev, of course, he's the WBA Super World Cruiserweight Champion. He has a record of 28 wins and 2 losses. He faces Victor Emilio Ramirez, who's the IBF World Cruiserweight Champion, who's got a record of 22 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. So, of course, Victor Emilio Ramirez, he's the guy that our very own Oval McKenzie went over to fight. And it was a very, very close fight. I think the Oval might have even edged it. So I don't really... I think Denis Lebedev's probably going to pick up the win here, to be totally honest. I don't mean that just because Oval was able to get a good, able to give him a really good fight, really close fight, a bit controversial, to be honest. We spoke to Oval straight after that fight. I remember back on one of our first shows, he come on talking to us, really nice guy. But I think Denis Lebedev has definitely got too much for Ramirez. So it'd be an interesting fight. I don't think it's being televised, but I would like to try and see what happens there. And also on the undercard of that, for the vacant IBO World Light Heavyweight title, of course, the IBO not really a recognized top sanctioning body. Umar Salamov, he's got a record of 15-0. He's facing our very own Bob Ajisaf, who has a record of 16-2. This would be a good win for Bob Ajisaf. He'll pick up the IBO title, and maybe that will set up a big bout for him down the line. So very interesting. And also on that bill, a guy called Dimitri Bivol. He's only had 6 fights. All 6 were wins. He is defending his interim WBA World Lightweight title. Now, this guy must be good because he's picked up that belt within 6 fights. So that's quite incredible. He faces a guy called Felix Valera, who has a record of 13-0. So somebody's O has to go. Dimitri Bivol, I'll be honest, I haven't seen or heard much of him, but he really must be something special. That's it for Russia. We're now going to go over to the O2 Arena. Day 2, top of the bill, David Haye, 27-2 in a 10-rounder against Arnold. I'm not going to try to say his last name. Nobody seems to have pronounced it correctly thus far. We're going to call him Arnold the Cobra. He has a record of 29-0. Beautiful record. The second longest winning record in heavyweight boxing right now, behind 36-0 Deontay Wilder. We don't know nothing about Arnold the Cobra apart from, I think, every single one of his fights, maybe apart from one that has took place in Switzerland. He hasn't really mixed it with any of the big names in the sport. That's why not many of us know about him at all. I remember turning up at the media press conference when the fight was announced, and nobody seemed to know who he was when they saw it on the posters before the fighters arrived. So we all had to kind of go on BoxRec. It was quite incredible, to be honest. And this is going to be, of course, it's always exciting to see David Haye get in the ring. But in my opinion, I think he's going to blow him out early. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you that I reckon he's gonna finish him within the first 4 rounds. David Haye, obviously, we saw him fight Mark Demori and knocked him out within the first round. But I reckon he's gonna knock him out within 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think to be totally honest, I think Mark Demori is probably more known than this guy. But I mean, at the end of the day, this guy can't bring less to the fight than Mark Demori did, because that was pretty disappointing. But a very good guy nonetheless, Mark Demori. We're now going to go down the undercard. Joe Mullender. He has a record of 9 wins and 1 loss. He faces Lee Markham. Remember, Lee Markham gave Frank Buglioni a really good fight. He's got a record of 15 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw. And this is for the vacant English middleweight title. And also on the bill, Nick Webb, 5-0. He faces Harry Miles, who has a record of 9-9. I believe we'll be speaking to Nick Webb on next week's show. He's only in a 4-rounder here. Of course, he's the heavyweight. Really good fighter, really good prospect. He's like the 1-round knockout king. He knocks everyone out in the first round. So really interesting, really interesting fighter, showing a lot of potential. And he gets them out of there early, which everybody wants to see from a heavyweight. So definitely one to keep our eyes on. K Prosper's also on the undercard. He at the moment has a record of 8-0. He's in a 4-rounder. Ollie Patterson, 3-0. He's in a 4-rounder as well. He faces a guy who's got no wins whatsoever, just 7 losses. But Ollie Patterson, of course, building that resume, only 3 fights into his career. And now the big one, Shannon Briggs, 59 wins and 6 losses, with the 1 draw, of course. This is a man that has been in the sport for a long, long time. He's back, of course. This guy of his 59 wins, okay, a lot of people forget this. This guy can crack, okay? Of his 59 wins, 52 by knockout. Okay, that is quite incredible. He's in a 10-rounder. I'm not sure what happened. He was supposed to fight Dimitrenko. We'll be speaking to Shannon Briggs shortly, so I'll ask him about that. Shannon Briggs will be fighting Jakov Gospic, it looks like, who has a record of 17 wins and 14 losses. Jakov Gospic's been stopped, I think, 8 times in those 14 losses, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been in there with quite a few people. He's been in there with the likes of Derek Chisora. I think Derek Chisora took him out in 2 or 3 rounds. He's been in there with a few fighters, so a few good fighters. So, it's going to be a fight that Shannon Briggs is going to win by knockout. I'm pretty certain on. We're now going to leave the UK. We're going to go straight over to Las Vegas, Nevada. Top of the bill, Jamal Charlo. I think this is the better brother of the two. One's called Jamal, one's called Jamel. It's very hard to know who's who. But Jamal Charlo holds the IBF World Super Welterweight title, the 154 title, of course. He puts it all on the line, and his 23-0 undefeated record against Austin Trout. Now, we know Austin Trout very well here. He's been on the show before as well. He has a record of 30 wins and 2 losses. He's a really, really good fighter, Austin Trout, as everybody knows. So this would be a really, really good fight. Austin Trout, very silky, very skillful. Jamal Charlo, I should say, good fighter, but really unproven against the top opponents. I think he's only fought 1 or 2 proper tough guys, borderline elite. Austin Trout, I would say, definitely was elite the last, about 2 or 3 years ago. I'd definitely say he's elite. I haven't seen too much of him since then. So it'll be interesting to see what Austin Trout has, because anyhow he's on the slide here, he could lose. And where will he really go from a loss here? Jamal Charlo, this is a really tough fight. I like to see these fights made. And this bill is absolutely incredible, okay? So I will just say, on Saturday, of course, the 21st of May, Wilder was supposed to fight Povetkin. That fight has been put off because Povetkin failed a drug test, so that fight is cancelled. Now, that fight was due to air on Box Nation. So when it got cancelled, it was just tough. Everybody had to swallow it. I was looking forward to staying up and watching it. It just wasn't going to happen. It had been cancelled. And they really didn't have to do it, Box Nation, but they did. They went and done a last-minute deal to air this bill that I'm talking about, which has 3 world title fights on it, all in the same division. That's almost unheard of. And some of the fights that are not going to be aired on Box Nation that are taking place on the same card are really good, and I'll read them out. So we've done the first one there. Erislandy Lara's also on the bill. He has a record of 22 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws. He faces Vanes Martirosyan. This is for the IBO World Super Welterweight title, which again, it's not really counted as a proper title. And this is for the WBA World Super Welterweight title. That, of course, is regarded as a top title. This is going to be a good fight. Erislandy Lara, everybody knows what he brings to the table. I actually think Lara, in some cases, he's had some tough decisions, but I think I'm going to go on record and say he's a tiny bit overrated, in my opinion. I really think he's a tiny bit overrated. Vanes Martirosyan has a record of 36 wins and 2 losses with the 1 draw, but I think Vanes is probably not going to get the win here. I think Erislandy Lara will do it. Of course, very classy Cuban boxer, but Vanes is a good fighter. He's a really, really good fighter. He's an elite fighter. I definitely have to give him that. So this is going to be a good fight. Both these 2 fights I've read out so far, both, of course, in the light middleweight division, the 154 division, both really as close to a 50-50 as you can get, really. Now, this one's the 3rd one. This is for the vacant WBC World Super Welterweight title. So this one is actually vacant. There's no champion at the moment. Jamal Charlo, 27-0. He faces John Jackson. Now, John Jackson is the son of Julian Jackson. I believe he is the Ring's hardest puncher of all time, or he's certainly up in the top 10 for sure. I think they said he's pound for pound the hardest puncher of all time, John Jackson's dad. John Jackson's got a brother called Julius Jackson. We had him on the show previously. And people should remember John Jackson for his fight with Andy Lee. He was beating Andy Lee, and then Andy Lee found a punch from the gods and knocked him spark out. That was an incredible fight, one that I'm sure John won't really like to look back on too fondly, but John Jackson has a record of 20 wins and 2 losses, and we know that he's a good fighter, John Jackson. I haven't really, I'll be completely honest, I haven't really seen too much of him. I only saw that Andy Lee fight. He was beating Andy Lee in those early rounds, but it was only really early. I think it was the 4th or 5th round. He was winning pretty much every round up until that point. Jamel Charlo, this is his chance to follow in his brother's footsteps and pick up a world title. And of course, it will be the WBC. So these guys, if he gets through John Jackson, these guys are almost getting like the Klitschko brothers down at light middleweight, both of them holding titles. And we wish the Charlos the best of luck as well as John Jackson. John Jackson, a good guy. I think we'll be speaking to him on the show soon. Also on this bill, BJ Flores, remember, really good friend of David Haye. I thought he'd be over here doing the commentating on Haye Day like he did last time, but it seems that he's got his own fight, so he'll be obviously over in America. He's got a record of 31 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. He's in an 8-rounder at cruiserweight against Roberto Santos, who has a record of 12 wins and 3 losses. So this is just a fight I'm sure BJ will get through. And BJ, again, another good fighter at cruiserweight, one that a lot of people forget when they mention the top names. Lanell Bellows is also on the bill. He has a record of 15 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. He faces Scott Sigman, who has a record of 26 wins, 8 losses and 1 draw. This is an 8-rounder at super middleweight. Lanell Bellows, one to look out for. Another fight on this crazy card. Ex-world champion at light heavyweight, Bebut Shumanov, who has a record of 16 and 2. Of course, we saw him dethroned when Bernard Hopkins beat him and took his title and become the oldest champion in history. I'm not sure how old he was now. I forgot. Bernard Hopkins, I think he was about 48 or something at the time. So Bebut Shumanov, a good fighter, just wasn't able to keep up with Bernard Hopkins. He's in a cruiserweight bout here, so he's gone up to cruiser. He's a 10-rounder, but his opponent is yet to be announced. But that's really it for the previewing. And something I forgot to do was bring the news in. There's 2 juicy bits of news on this week's show. Ayaz, come in with the news.
Yep. Saul Canelo Alvarez has vacated his WBC belt.
Of course, he's vacated it, and Gennady Golovkin's been upgraded to the full WBC champion. Despite vacating it, he's trying to say, Canelo, that he really is trying to make that fight with Golovkin. Well, actions speak louder than words is all I can say here. He's given up the title. Golovkin now picks up another belt, and it certainly seems as if he's trying to avoid Golovkin. But we'll have to wait and see with that because, you know, like I say, actions speak louder than words. He's saying he wants to fight, but he's vacated it. So it don't really make no sense to me. I hope he doesn't run from Golovkin because, you know, the WBC being a Mexican sanctioning body, and this is, you know, like the best, one of the best, you know, the new face of boxing, Canelo, like the Mexican superstar, he's given it up. He's given up their belt. So, you know, very unexpected, I will say. I don't think many people saw this. Well, a lot of people did actually say it, but we'll see if he actually does try and fight him. That's the thing that we need to see if it's going to happen. Is there any other news, Ayaz?
Chris Eubank Jr. will take on the unbeaten Tom Duran on the undercard of Anthony Joshua's world title defense on June 25th.
Yep, he's re-signed with Matchroom. I'm not sure how many. You know, last time I think he had a 4-fight deal with Matchroom. I'm not sure if this is one where he's contracted for longer or what the score is here. I'm not sure the details will be disclosed about that. Yeah, he's signed with Matchroom, so he's going to be on the bill. A lot of people are making something of the fact that on this particular bill, on Joshua's undercard, Eubank, of course, Chris Eubank Jr., he's going to be on it. Nigel Benn's son, Conor Benn, is going to be on it. A lot of people are making a thing of that, you know, Ben's son and Eubank's son both on the same bill. Oh my God, what a move by Eddie Hearn and all this. But of course, both these guys on different levels at the moment. Chris Eubank Jr. really on that world stage, I think. And and just starting out his Conor Ben. So really, yeah, I guess the names being on the same thing is quite a good touch there from Eddie. He was spotted by a few people on Twitter, so a good move all round. That's it for the news, I believe, Ayaz. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Ayaz has run out of the news. Two juicy bits of news on this week's show, though, I will say. So part one consisted of the review part and the interview with Joseph Parker. Part two consists of the preview part that we just done, and this interview that I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy. Okay, our second guest on this week's show boasts a record of 59 wins and 52 by knockout, 36 of those knockouts in the first round. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former heavyweight champion of the world, Shannon The Cannon Briggs. Shannon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, champ. Thank you for having me on. Let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ.
Yes.
My first question is one that I pretty much know the answer to. How happy are you with the way the British public have taken to you? They love you, Shannon.
Yeah, it's out of control. I love it, champ. I got to be honest with you. I've never felt such a great feeling like this coming to Europe, coming to England, and just the reception that I've been given. I've never seen or felt anything like this. It's definitely changed my life forever.
Excellent stuff. Now, of course, you're fighting on Saturday on the David Haye undercard. Your opponent, I believe, has now been confirmed. What actually happened with Dimitrenko in the beginning? I know you were supposed to fight him and now you're not. So could you tell us the new opponent and what actually happened?
I'm not sure, champ, to be honest with you. As soon as I was given the opportunity to be on this card, it was, to me, like I said, it's an honor to be here and to have such great fanfare because, this is the birthplace of boxing. Boxing began here in England. So fisticuffs, the art of fisticuffs. So to be here and to be fighting in a great country is a true honor, let alone the great champions that right now currently hold belts here. It's pretty much dominating boxing. England is dominating with so many champions. So I'm here and I'm happy. As far as the opponent they originally had, I didn't even care. As soon as the opportunity presented itself, I said yes to everything. Like I told David Haye, I said yeah to everything. I just wanted. My goal was coming here was to land a big fight. It was going to be Joshua or Fury or Haye. It happened to be Haye. I'm happy. I commend him on taking the challenge. We're gonna both fight Saturday night, and then we look forward to a fight in early September.
Absolutely. Now, on the same night as yourself, it's a bit of a heavyweight night. Over in New Zealand, Joseph Parker is facing Carlos Takam, and the winner will be mandatory for Anthony Joshua's title. Also, it's been called off now, but Povetkin was due to face Deontay Wilder. Povetkin has failed a drugs test. I just wanted to get your opinion on the current boxing landscape and the fact that so many athletes are testing positive for all sorts of illegal substances lately, Shannon.
I haven't given too much notice to it, to be honest with you, champ. This is sports. It's happened in the world we live in today. Everyone's looking to get an edge. It's just something that's going to happen and continue to happen until, the end of time, to be honest with you. This is a competitive sport itself. It's very competitive. People want to win. Livelihoods have changed. Lives have changed forever from a win or from a loss. So you're always going to have people looking to get the edge, whether it's a 1% edge or 100% edge. With that being said, I've been really focused on myself, and I say when I say myself, I mean the people, being the people's champ, not really getting involved with the politics side of what's going on. Just focus on, bringing nothing but motivation and hoping to inspire the people and some fun to the game. Just really, bringing back good energy and making people have a good time because that's what it's all about. It helps people.
Now,
Let's go, champ.
I'm
pretty good
friends.
Let's go, champ.
I'm pretty good friends with Eddie Chambers, and he said that of all the guys he's sparred, you are one of the hardest punchers. You're one of the hardest punchers he's been in with. Who is the hardest puncher you've been in with?
Man, as far as punches go, I fought the great Lennox Lewis, who was a tremendous puncher. Of course, and the hardest hitter I've ever been hit was George Foreman. He hit me so hard I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. I've been in with some tough guys. Vitaly Klitschko, he was a tough puncher. But to be honest with you, ranking up there high was a guy named Francois Botha. Oh my God, he hit me so hard, champ. I still feel it sometimes.
Now, of course, you've got some beautiful names on your record and a lot of wins. Who would you say is the best win of your career, Shannon?
I mean, honest with you, champ, I haven't had the best win in my career. I think that will be in September when I knock out David Haye. That'll be the best win in my career. I've had a roller coaster career, ups and downs. I've had some some great things, some good things happen. I've had some bad things happen. Just at 44 years old, I'm in the best shape of my life physically and mentally. I'm focused. I have a great team for once. I have a great team behind me. My career has had a lot of holes in it because of the people that I was around. I'm not blaming anyone, and I take a lot of responsibility because I myself was a young, immature kid who fell into boxing, but was fortunate to have so much talent that even with not being 100% focused and not having a great team, I still was able to rise to the top and fight some good guys and win the title twice. With that being said, I'm in a new place, a new time in my life. I'm happy. I'm motivated. I'm inspired by the people. Every day I go out the house. I walk down the street of England. I'm in Hackney. I'm in Brixton. I'm all over. And people are saying, let's go, champ. They're motivated. They're telling me, champ, my life has changed because they see the motivation. They're eating right. They're going to sleep. They're not eating fast food. They're just feeling good about themselves, and that's what it's all about.
The other question I wanted to say, obviously you followed Vladimir around the world. You threw your shoe at him. You ate his dinner. You made him fall into a lake. It was hilarious watching it all. What was the funniest of all those encounters for yourself?
To be honest with you, champ, it was just all happening spur of the moment. Nothing was planned. I had actually got a call, and I was told that Vladimir would go every Wednesday, I believe it was. He would go on the Intercoastal with his paddleboard. So I was like, I went out there two or three Wednesdays, and I didn't see him. And finally, on the last day, we were actually out there, and we were turning back. My buddy was driving the boat, and we were turning back. And I said, no, I think I see him. And he was like, nah, we've been out here too long, champ. He's not out here. I said, no, look. There's like a little speck. You could see him from far away. I said, that's him. They said, no, we're going back. And as we were about to turn, I said, no, wait, look. And they looked, and they said, that's him. It came up. I couldn't believe. I said, I got your ass now. Excuse my language, champ. I said, I got you behind now. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ.
I must say,
Shannon The Cannon.
I must have watched that video about 1,000 times. I laugh every time. It's brilliant.
Thank you, champ. It was funny.
Now, you were trying to find David Haye when you first come here. You found him now. Each time you see him, you seem to touch his hair. What is it you like about his hair, Shannon?
I don't like his hair. That's what it is, champ. I can't believe he's walking around with that afro looking crazy, his evil hairdo with his 9 toes. The people sick of David Haye. I went to his house looking for him. I went to Bermondsey. I went to his relative's house. I went to his gym. I was looking for him everywhere. Finally, I showed up at his press conference. He had security guards everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I just came to make a statement, and I think I did that. The great people of England, of London, have been 100% behind me. Everywhere I go, they say, champ, we want you to knock him out. We sick of him. You know what I'm saying? He pulled out his toe on national TV. We sick of him, champ. Let's go, champ.
And now, of course, I was going to ask you, when is that fight likely to take place? You said September.
Yes.
With some of the top names on your record, what's your honest opinion on Haye? Is he going to be one of those marquee names on your record when the fight comes round?
Yeah, 100%. He's a former 2-time heavyweight champion. He's a family man. He's a handsome brother. I'm ugly, so I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get him. I'm going to knock him out. When I finish, I'm going to knock his hair off. He's going to look just like me. He's going to be bald.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, Shannon, just I wanted to run through about 3 or 4 names, and I just wanted you to give maybe one sentence on fellow, other heavyweight boxers. I just wanted to get your opinion of them. Is that okay with you?
I'm sorry, champ. One more time. Say that again, brother.
I just want to run through about 3 or 4 names of other heavyweights at the moment. I just wanted to get just one sentence out of you, like your opinion of them.
Okay, shoot.
Okay, so Tyson Fury to begin with.
Yeah, big guy in incredible shape. He talks a lot of stuff that gets a lot of attention, and that's what he's doing as far as getting publicity. You know what they say, all publicity is good publicity. So with that being said, he's doing a great job of keeping his name in the news. But the truth of the matter is he's a tremendous fighter. A guy his size to be in that type of shape. He handled Vladimir Klitschko with ease. He put his hands behind his back. He did the smart thing, which I told everybody, which was to box this guy. This is how you beat Klitschko. You box him. And aside from that, he was definitely he was in top shape, but he was focused mentally. But I will say this. I had did my part in taking Klitschko out of his game, and I did that. I think I did a great job. He just finished him off.
I was actually going to ask you about Vladimir Klitschko. What's your opinion on Vlad?
Great champion, dominated the heavyweight division for many years. Unfortunately, he was boring for the people, but he definitely dominated the game. He won every fight he was supposed to win. He went into some big fights over in Germany, around the world. A great champion going down in history as one of the greats.
Anthony Joshua?
Anthony Joshua, future legend, a future guy who's going to be the future of boxing. I believe Anthony Joshua is a big, strong guy. He's handsome, very well spoken, very respectful. You can't do anything but love him and like his attitude. And I think he's great for boxing. I think he's definitely a future of boxing.
And the last one of these, Deontay Wilder.
He's a chump. Nah. Wilder's he's a very good fighter. He's been he's been doing something that hasn't been done. He's been active, very active, and that's what you got to respect that. I mess around with him. I pick on him sometimes because that's what I'm supposed to do. It's entertainment. But I got a lot of respect for the guy. The fact that he's a big, tall guy, and he's a lot of guys can't do what he's doing. He's stepping up in the ring. Whoever they put him in front of, he's doing his best to get rid of him, and he's doing that. And you got to respect that. Aside from that, he talks crap about me, but it's all good. I'm having fun with it. And at the end of the day, hopefully we can get a fight going on. But again, he's another young lion, a guy on the rise, and I wish him nothing but the best as well. Let's go, champ.
Absolutely. Now, just before I let you go, I just wanted to give you an opportunity for any kind of message you want to give to any of the UK fans that may be listening, Shannon.
To all my UK fans, I just want to say I love and appreciate you, champs, so much. All you champs out there, females, males, kids, the elderly. I appreciate all the love and support, and I appreciate the fact that, people are actually being health conscious now. They're eating right. They're looking to do the best, working out, getting sleep. Sleep is very important, champ. We need our sleep. So, what I'm saying? I'm just happy. I'm overwhelmed, to be honest with you, with the love and support. I've never felt anything like this in my life. Everywhere I go, I hear, let's go, champ. And I hear, champ, champ, champ. And it just makes me feel good. It's a great feeling, champ. It's a great feeling, champ.
Excellent. Okay, Shannon, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to interview such a boxing great. I wish you all the success and health for the future, and hopefully we speak again soon.
Well, I got to tell you, champ, you're a great interview guy. You're a great interviewer. I appreciate how you giving me this opportunity, man. I got to tell you, champ, you are the champ.
You're the champ.
Nah, you the champ.
Thank you very much.
No, we the champs. We the champs.
I'll share the title.
All right, champ. We're going to share that one. Let's go, champ.
Okay, now it's time to conclude episode 33 of the Boxhard podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman, a.k.a. The Champ. Okay, if you want to argue, you can call up Shannon Briggs and see what he'll tell you. Also, a massive thank you, as always, to my co-host, Ayaz Sumra. A huge thank you to the two guests on this week's show, Joseph Parker and his phenomenal team, for setting the interview up. Everybody's got to watch that fight. That's on Sky Sports. And also, a little bit earlier on in the night, everybody's got to watch our other guest fight, Shannon Briggs. That's on Dave, of course. So a massive shout out to Shannon Briggs and Joseph Parker. And of course, as always, the biggest shout out of them all goes to the listeners that have tuned into this show, tuning into every other show that we do. You are incredible. You keep this show pumping every single week. We'll be back next week with another big show, as always. Until then, my friends, take care.